with regards to another um, Jim Sheridan movie. I never quite watched anything of his before I watched his The Name of the Father, which I was commented on. But now suddenly I watched a couple of movies, and yeah, I mean, the other one was the third movie apparently directed, and this one is the fourth. And after these two, so if I ever watched, I probably will, But whenever I watch the first one, I'm going to be a bit, because apparently it's supposed to be comedy drama, and I cannot imagine this guy doing comedy. It just doesn't quite fit in with what I've watched so far. Anyway, so yeah, I've watched the Boxer, but this one happens to be, I think, entirely fictional, apart from the background, of course. Most fictional as opposed to, The Name of the Father, which is based on a real life incident. So there's not much research to do about the Boxer. It's quite, not quite, I mean, very, but there's not much back, I mean, apart from, the general thing with what happened in the background, there's not really much. The boxing itself is sort of like a prop they use, uh, a sort of wreath for peace that doesn't quite work. Maybe it does at the end, but people still die, everyone still dies, people still get sad, people are still idiots, just like they were before and after. The other movie as well. It's um, I honestly don't know what, especially if a movie like this one is entirely fictional. What was the point of that? I mean, at least the Name of the Father says a true story, so all the negative things that happened are true, uh, mostly as commented on in the other one. Yeah, but yeah, when you get a fictional tale like this, I mean, sure, the background is true, but other than that, most fiction. So I'm assuming there wasn't some drunk guy who ended up there just because of a drunken argument. It's a bit bizarre if that ever really happens, because of course drunk people are drunk people. Yeah, um, you know, in contrast to the very beginning, of course, his argument there at the beginning didn't result in anything apart from him ending up sleeping. So yeah, the point is, so I don't get. I mean, sure, he's trying to show that love can persist and whatnot, but you know, it's still fictional, and I'm not entirely sure what the point of it is. I mean, it's not like the focus wasn't on the relationship anyway, was it? I mean, sure, the music played there when they were having the highs of the relationship, and the music was pretty good as well. Apparently, it was composed by some by the singer and songwriter and composer of the Virgin Prunes. Never heard of them before? Yeah, I know I never heard of them. Split up long ago. So yeah, Virgin Prunes. I'm not really sure what that means, because prunes are normally like, old things. I guess it's sort of contradictory, but never mind. Well, yeah. Um, so I don't know. It's sort of like, having all this negativity for not much reason. Then again, mm, not sure why I sort of want a reason because there's a lot of fictional movies that do have a lot of negativity generally, and well, they exist. So what's the difference? I mean, personally, I don't particularly like the boxing specifically too much. So just that's I think it's one of the most brutal sports, really. So not so much that, but sure enough, it wasn't even the focus, even though its title. So other than that, though, yeah, I mean, it's a fictional tale based on some reality, but it's mostly still fictional in the sense that rather I suppose this is the thing. So I'd rather watch something at least that is based on real life events if it's too gruesome. I mean, it's just there was a lot. There were a lot of deaths, a lot of murder, a lot of bombings. Like, the first bombing went by and they didn't even mention it again. I suppose that happened in real life as well, but it's kind of weird, yeah. Whereas, of course, in the other movie, it had lasting consequences, Uh, but yeah, I just ultimately mm, I love this, and for what reasons though? And just I understand where people are coming from. I just read a bunch of reviews on IMDb, and I can understand that they liked it because it's true. It displays some reality, although some disagree that it's realistic and everything. Well, the background happened as it did. The main events, I guess, is don't see it's do seem to be fictional, but the background is yeah. So yeah, many people do seem to think that it's real. I think the majority seem to think it's real. I mean, it's rated a respectable 7 out of 10. So, yeah, and still, I mean, just I don't know. Yeah, but indeed, though, it is absurd to try to get peace from a sport that is very violent as well, although less violent, as one pointed out. Um, although I suppose the fact that it is a contradiction, it's a bit interesting, I guess, for a movie, I suppose. That's they're all, films are supposed to, have like a variety of viewpoints, variety of possibilities and plots and characters, and this is what this is about, I guess. Um, I I don't I haven't watched many boxing movies, so I cannot tell whether there's any others that are similar like this, where there's an inherent contradiction to the premise. But yeah, um, I actually still haven't watched Rocky or Raging Bull, which are even more popular. When I watch them, I'll compare it. And, so yeah, otherwise, so it's still very violent. So it's like the Coen Brothers violent movies, and they're fictional as well. So I don't see the point. At least they have some dark humor. This obviously has no humor at all. I don't know. It's sure realistic. The acting is realistic, of course, and there's something that displays this sort of fragility in societies. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know how I mean, at least no one mentioned enjoy. Some people seem to think that all movies can be enjoyed. It's not that I didn't enjoy it because it's acted poorly or the storyline is unrealistic or such, but the violence is quite intense, and It's fictional as well, but with a background of reality.